Hi, this is Pastor Carolyn, Fountain of Living Waters. Okay, I'm going to pick up where I stopped off at. And where I stopped off at, we were talking about toxic religion, toxic people. And we talked about legalistic. We talked about hypocrites. We talked about people who try to put you on a false guilt trip and nitpicking people. So now I'm going to pick up where you have people who have evil motives. Okay? Whenever you get somebody talking about your motive, they're toxic. The reason they're toxic is they don't have the slightest idea what your motives are. Because you know what? You don't know half the time what your motives are. Half the time we can't even figure it out why we do what we do. You are a mixture and a combination of so many complex motivations. And I figured out a long time ago, I don't know why I do what I do half the time. And I'm sure you can identify with that. If I can't figure out what I do, why I do what I do, I'm certainly not going to be an expert on you or somebody else. If you can't figure out why you do what you do half the time, what makes you think you can figure out what other people do? But you have those toxic people that's always trying to give you advice, always trying to say, oh, you do this and you do that because. Toxic people like to play junior psychologist. Let me tell you why you do what you do. That's a toxic person. They have evil motives. Whatever advice they give, when they come off like that, you better rush for sure. It's not in your best interest, it's in theirs. Now, this happened with Jesus all the time. You couldn't possibly make evil out of what he did. He was perfect. So even when he did something perfect, they would slander his motivation and say, oh, he did it for a bad motive. He did it for a show off. He did it because he's evil. So they couldn't put him down for that, for what he had done. They couldn't even do that. He never did anything wrong, but they tried. In fact, one time Jesus did a bunch of miracles, including casting out some demons out of a guy who was possessed. And it says in Matthew 9:34, the Pharisees said, it is by the prince of demons that Jesus drives out demons. They're attributing God's work to Satan. They're saying he used sorcery, witchcraft, black magic, white magic, whatever you want to call it. He used tricks. Satan is giving him the power to do these things. That's exactly what they were going around saying. Oh, Satan make him do that. People, Satan don't have that kind of power. Temptation. It's his name of his game. Tempting you all the time, trying to tempt you to do something. So, what are they doing? They could not put down what Jesus had done. They couldn't do anything. The only thing they couldn't do anything but verify the miracles. Know why? Because everybody saw the miracles. They weren't all deluded. They all wasn't working out of delusion of their imagination. The guy could see again, or his hand had been fixed, or he could walk when he couldn't walk. All these different miracles Jesus did in front of all of those people. Instead, they said he had evil motives. That's going to happen to you. When people cannot deny your effectiveness, they will attribute it to evil motivation. In other words, toxic people, if they cannot deny your action or attack your action, then what they're going to do is slander your motivation. They do it all the time. And I know you're listening to this and you're thinking right now, some of those people, or if they can't deny your success, let me say this to you. Let me say, you have been at work and you had a successful year at work, and other people that just don't like it because, like, I'm again, wow, she's getting promoted and she's getting bonuses and she's doing a fantastic. But you know what? They come off and they try and to find something wrong. But you know what the problem is? They're jealous of it. They can't deny that you're successful, so they will demean your methods. They'll try to explain it away. If they cannot refute the results, they will criticize your personality. That's what sick people do. That's what toxic, what poisonous, what Pharisee spirits do. Jesus said you need to be aware of this. He said, beware of the yeast of the leaven. Now, we saw a couple of videos back what leaven, what the yeast mean when he said, beware of the leaven of the yeast of the leaven. Yeast means evil. Evil. So let's move on to another toxic personality, or people. Guilt by association. Toxic people love to do this. If you show love, if you show kindness, you're just civil to someone who is on their bad list or having a bad time financially or whatever's going on in their life, then you are by association bad. It could be anybody that they don't agree with. Somebody from a different political party, someone from a different religion, someone from a sinful lifestyle. If you associate with them, then you are bad by association. You know what steams me is sometimes I need to answer some of these critics of Pastor Carolyn. I don't know if you know this, but I get criticized a lot sometimes. I'm a big target. I mean, a big target. And that's not Hebrew humor either. One, being a pastor. Two, being a woman. Oh, you heard all of this stuff. Oh, a woman is supposed to be a pastor. Show me in the Bible. Because when God used the word man, he doesn't refer to a gender. He doesn't refer to a gender. Because woman was taken from the man's rib. He does not refer to a gender. When God look at us, he doesn't see female or male, or the Bible is a lie when he says he is not a respective person. What he would do for one, he would do for another. If he can call a man, he can call a woman. Stop playing God. That's all I have to say to my critics. Stop playing God. Okay, I got that out. Let me move on. And the reason they charge us to this guilt by association, because I can eat with the best of them and I can eat with the worst of them. And I have. That is not such a bad thing. How are you going to influence someone until you get close to them? Of course, you got to be able to communicate in order to win some. Paul said we got to go on all levels to win some. Do you have to agree with someone about everything in order to eat with them? No, of course not. But these critics, what they would do is say, Carolyn is with that person. And they'll go on about 5 pages why that person ate, why I ate, or why that person ate was a bad person, or somebody who has a bad influence or bad whatever. That's guilt by association. In order to influence somebody, you have to get close to them. In order to reach someone, you have to relate to them. Now look at what happened to Jesus, and I'm going to prove a point. The religion establishment hated Jesus. They hated Jesus. One of the reasons was he related to people they didn't like. The Bible says that in Luke 15:2, the Pharisees, here we go, the Pharisees complained that Jesus was associating with despicable people, even eating with them. People loved Jesus because he reached out to them. And people will love you because you do the same. But some people, those that are toxic, hated him for that very same reason, because he reached out to people. Luke 7:34, they said about Jesus. This is what they said about Jesus: a drunken, a glutton, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. They insulted Jesus and said things that weren't even true about him just because he related to people they didn't like. If that happened to you just because you reached out to someone else doesn't like whatever, you're having lunch with or dinner with, just hear what I'm saying. Remember, they are the one who has the problem. They are the one who has a hardened heart. They're the one who are judging you and trying to make you feel guilty by association. And I tell you what, I take it like this. If someone else doesn't like who I'm having lunch with and trying to win to Christ, I don't take that as an insult. I said, well, that's not a criticism. Matter of fact, that's good. I'm doing what Jesus did. Don't take it that way if you find that people are putting you down. Just look at it like this. I'm doing my Father's business. That is one of the highest compliments you're ever going to get. Guilty by association. That's toxic. When people want to say guilty by association, that's a toxic person. So, okay, I'm going to stop right here for now. Thanks for listening. Be sure to stay tuned for the next 3 bullet points that I have to discuss: the toxic religion, toxic people. And be sure to hit that like button right there in that corner. Hit that like button. Share with your friends, your family, and subscribe. When you subscribe, I'll tell you what happens. You'll get a notification each time I post a video. And leave a comment. Tell me what you want to hear, what topics you want me to discuss, and ask questions. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions and discuss any topics you would like to hear. So until next time, you have a great day and be blessed. Bye.